Hi, this is Rick Anthony, and welcome to the Someone You Should Know podcast, the podcast that spotlights the stars of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So sit back, relax, have a cold one, and get ready to meet someone you should know.
Well, since this is the holiday season, I'm continuing with friends of mine who are now authors. Today's guest I've known for over 30 years. She's a children's book author who imparts positivity and helps her children and adults believe in themselves by encouraging them to follow their dreams. Will you please welcome my dear friend, I like to say this, author Tracy Watland. Tracy, welcome.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, that's the kids cheering for you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so very happy for you, Tracy. When I found out that you were becoming an author, I'm going, this is a departure from what I know Tracy Watland has, and this is really cool. What was your love affair of books when you were a kid? I used to spend countless hours at the library checking out dozens and dozens of books at a time. Were you the same way?
Absolutely, I was. And it was kind of funny because my grandmother would take me sometimes and I would check out maybe 6 or 7 books at a time. And then I would go home and I'd be so excited. I couldn't read one at a time. I'd read a chapter from this one, a chapter from that one. And she would it would blow her mind that I could keep all the stories straight and all the characters straight. So it's just been something I've loved from day one. My mom always read to me when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So in love with books and storytelling since I was a little kid.
Yeah, I've been a fan of reading ever since the Go Dog Go days and the green eggs and ham days, you know. But yeah, I've had a love affair with reading for decades and decades, and it's always been kind of my escape.
Yes.
Yep. Tracy, when did you find out? I've known you for a long, long time. When did you realize you were a children's author?
I guess I've probably known it forever. I just never did anything about it. I took some writing classes through college and a little bit after that. And I used to write for my godkids when they were little. They're all grown up now. But I never did anything about it. I just kept talking about it. And then 6 years ago is when this all changed for me. I turned 50. I got downsized from a really great job in the luxury jewelry industry. They took their sales force inside, and I lived on the wrong side of the country. So I thought, what do I want to do next? Well, what is the obvious thing when you lose your job? You clean out your savings account and you publish a book, right?
Well, it seems to be quite fortuitous. That very first book came out in 2016. It was called The Kindness Can. The question I have to ask you is, when you first received that box of books that basically said, I am now a published author, what were you anxious? Were you excited? What was going through your mind?
Well, funny enough, I was out of town when they were delivered. So I knew they were sitting on my porch and I couldn't get to them for an additional 48 hours. So that was
hoping that someone hadn't stolen it off your porch, right?
I mean, it was almost cruel. But when I got home and I opened that box, oh my God, it was like a kid on Christmas. I mean, I was literally shaking. I think I started crying. I mean, it was just the coolest thing. And now I am 4 books in so far, and it never gets old. It is just as thrilling every time I open that box and get one of my new babies out of there.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's hard to get, when you actually get to the point where you actually say, okay, I'm going to hit the send button and send this to my publisher. It is everything that I have done, the best I could possibly do. It's hard to get to that point, isn't it?
It's very hard to get to that point.
Now, you say you've got 5 books now.
4 out now and 1 coming next summer.
All right. Can you go through the list? The Kindness Can came out in 2016. Can you go through the other books?
So the second one is called The Witch's New Britches, and it's about a witch that goes underwear shopping for Halloween. I actually wrote that book probably, 25 years ago. I wrote it for my goddaughter for her birthday. She has a Halloween birthday, so that's how that came about. The next one is The Bluebird of Happy, which is all about believing in yourself and finding your voice. And then I started, number 4 was the start of a series called Abby's Magic Music, And book 1 came out about 2 years ago, and that's about forgiveness and how holding a grudge just holds you back from all the good things in life. And then next summer, coming soon, is Abby's Magic Music, book 2, Carried Away. And that's going to be about how your imagination can scare the heck out of you, kind of told through a case of stage fright.
Now, I know the answer to this in here, but when you write, do you write yourself as a character?
You know, I didn't want to, but I do. And I'm kind of standing in the background of some of my books. If you look closely, you'll see me in there. My books are all kind of full of little Easter eggs. So I am in the back of them, hidden in there somewhere. As we move forward, I may become more of a main character. We'll see how that goes.
All right, very good. I was going to say there's a little bit of you, but from what I have read, I can see that. I can see that's a Tracy Watland right there. All right, the age group this is primarily structured for?
Technically, they're 4 to 8 years old, but I say they are from 0 to 100. I truly believe that children's books are for everyone. A lot of times, adults get more out of it, I think, than the kids do. They understand it a little bit better. So I love it when grown-ups come to me and say, that's exactly what I needed to hear, and that's exactly what my kid needed to hear, too. So for everyone.
When my nephew Nathan was young, I used to read to him, and I used to do all the character voices, and he used to love that. When you get your books ready to go, you obviously have a sounding board. Do you test these books out on kids? Do you test them out on adults, or whom?
Both, actually. Mm-hmm. So I take it out. If I'm doing school visits or any sort of appearance with kids, I will introduce them to my new characters. So we'll read whatever book I'm there to read, and then I'll pull out pictures of my new characters and see what they think of them. Sometimes I ask them what they think that character's story should be. So that's kind of fun to brainstorm with a bunch of, 4 to 8 year olds. That's a blast. Ideas that you get from them are amazing.
Oh, I could imagine. As they say, told through the mouth of babes,
Yes, definitely. And then I have my grown-up sounding board. So I have a couple of close friends that I run them past and let them read. And I'm always saying, be honest with me. If it sucks, tell me.
Good. Now, I know the fact that you have had a love affair with music ever since I've known you. You love Journey, you love the Beatles, and yep. I can see that because you are now branching on to Abby's Magic Music. You've got some themes that are involving music, which is a little bit more about unraveling the onion one more layer on Tracy Watland, because I know you love music, and I love the fact that you've incorporated that in these books.
Oh, thank you.
Right what you know, right?
I had to.
Right what you know, right, Tracy?
Absolutely.
So tell us a bit more about Abby's Magic Music, and you've got another book coming out, like you say, which is book 2. Tell us a little bit more about Abby's Magic Music and the fact that it is involving music.
So Abby's Magic Music was a little bit of a surprise to me. I was getting ready to write my next book after The Bluebird of Happy, and it was going to be based on my mom's dog. His name was Oliver, and I just had this great title called Oliver Full of Fur and the Good Vibes Day. And Oliver was a little guitar player, and the Good Vibes Day was the name of his band.
I like it already.
Unfortunately, I haven't written that one yet, but we'll get there.
Well, you could sing "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog."
Perfect, right?
Cut me in for 10%.
You got it, my friend.
You know what's strange, Tracy? You were talking about earlier, we were talking about the fact that you were reading like 5 books simultaneously. Maybe you should do a character that can do that. Maybe Tracy Watland as the girl who could read 5 books at the same time. I don't know how you'd come with that one. That's just something to put away. Speaking
of juggler, maybe.
Here you go. Abby's Magic Music is on sale right now. It's 20% off. You've got a holiday book special going on right now. Can you give us the rundown of all that? And we'll, of course, include all the links that you're going to talk about in the show notes.
So you can find them all on my website, which is tracywatland.com. Unfortunately, my shopping cart is not working really well. There's a little bit of a glitch to it. So if you want to buy one title, it works fine. If you want to buy multiple titles, please send me an email that you can find on the site. Otherwise, it's going to charge you double shipping, and I don't want to do that. So, yeah, check them out at tracywatland.com. I also have a Facebook page, Tracy Watland Author, and you can also find me on Instagram.
Awesome. Very good. Are you a disciplined writer, Tracy, or do you just go with whatever inspiration hits you?
Oh, absolutely not. I have always been a fly by the seat of my pants, just wing it kind of girl.
I knew that answer before asking you, but I had to ask it for the show.
I can change on a dime. I can make anything work. I can go with the flow, but yeah, I'm constantly changing and evolving. So I get an idea in my head, and I have a beginning, and I have an end, and I have absolutely no clue how I'm going to get there. So I always say that I write bits and pieces, and then I wait for my characters to tell me their story. And when they're ready to tell that story, it just flies right through me.
Wow. When you actually go out and read to kids, you've done quite a few book signings and such. What's the biggest surprise to date? Now, I did see somewhere that I saw Valerie Bertinelli with one of your books. What's the story there?
That was actually the night before one of my first book signings. Actually, no, it was probably one of my second book signings with the second book. And a friend of mine had just invited me out to see her with her new book. And I thought, I'm going to see how a seasoned pro does it. And I'm going to share my books with her. So I had a quick little discussion with her, and she loved them. And she grabbed them out of my hands, and somebody snapped a picture, and she was just the greatest. She was trying to talk everybody into buying them. She was sending everybody to my website. She was telling the bookstore manager there if he didn't have them, he needed to carry them. She was just the best. It was
wow,
so
talk
much
about
fun.
An advocate. Wow.
She was just the best. It was great.
Absolutely. She's a good chef also.
So I hear.
Yeah. Other than that, what other unusual surprises? You've gone through 4 books now. You're working on your the 5th one's about ready to go to press now. Can you give us some other insights, little surprises that you really caught you off guard?
For me, I just love the way that the kids get lost in the stories. With kids, you never know if you're going to have their attention or not. And I'm always like, oh my God, what if they don't listen? What if they hate the story? What if I can't control the group? But I've always had such great kids that seem so enthralled. And that's why I like them to brainstorm with me. I mean, the ideas that they come up with when you show them the picture of a character, I have a whole notebook of that. I could write a million different stories from way out there to really some solid ideas. So I guess how smart little ones really are.
Yeah, absolutely. I read on Facebook this morning that you were a little resistant in handing in book 2 of Abby's Magic Music Carried Away. You said that I finally realized I was channeling my characters and getting carried away by small fixable details. Do tell.
This was one where I just, I don't know, it felt choppy to me. It just didn't feel like it was flowing. And then I was matching it up against my illustrations, and I was like, I don't know, does this picture tell the story? Are they matching the words? And so I have a couple of friends that I share these with. I kept making them read it over and over. And I kept changing little words or shifting around sentences. And I was freaking myself out. I think partially because Abby's Magic Music, the first book is called Billy's Story, and it got such a great reception. My fear is, what if this one's not as good?
Well, you got to always worry about the sophomore in the series type thing. But
yeah,
I think you're going to do just fine with just about anything. You just got to believe in yourself, just like you say in your books, right?
Got to listen to myself, right?
That's the hardest thing to do, though. You always talk about, practice what you preach, but it's really hard sometimes when you're that close to it. Is it going to press? When should we expect this one? 2023?
It'll be out summer 2023. I don't have an exact date yet. I just handed it into the publisher, so now they will do the whole layout of the book, kind of matching the pictures with the wording. And just kind of getting everything lined up, and then I start getting proofs back to see if I like it. So it's still a whole process.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they finally hit the print button, it can take, because of the paper shortages and everything going on right now, it can take a little bit longer. So I am hoping for June. Originally, they told me fall, so we've already rolled back to June, which is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say June, July, and keep our fingers crossed.
And then we need to get Hollywood involved and get these things casted for movies, right?
I would love to do like a video. I really would. My next big thing is I want to do plush of some of the characters, and I would love to do some sort of, maybe not full-blown cartoons, but little 30 to 60-second video clips with, extra lessons by the characters.
I was going to say, these TikTok kids can do it. Why can't Tracy Watland?
I'm going to need a TikTok kid to help me.
You mentioned it before. Let's talk one more time. Website links, Tracy, the best way to reach you.
TracyWatland.com. You can email me at tracywatland@gmail.com. And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Tracy Watland Author.
I'm going to include all those in the show links there. Now, of course, if anyone wants to book her for a book signing or for a chance to read in front of kids and such, same place, right?
Absolutely.
All right, very good. What's next since this book is now almost a little bit out of your hands, what's next? What book or what concept are you going to work on next?
Book 3 in Abby's Magic Music.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what the theme of that one is yet. And then I'm also I've been working on this for 5 years and I have not been getting as far as I want. Planning to do those little inspirational gift books for grown-ups about following your dreams, following your heart. So still trying to work on that one.
All right, very good. We're speaking with Tracy Watland, my guest today on the Someone You Should Know podcast. I've known her for a very long time. Your kids are going to love her books. I've had a couple in front of me. I've been looking through them myself. I really enjoy them. And if I can handle them, your kid can handle them too. Tracy, any last things you'd like to impart to our listeners today?
Believe in yourself, follow your heart, and go after your dreams.
All right, that's Tracy Watland today on the Someone You Should Know podcast. Tracy, thanks again for being my guest, darling.
Thank you, Rick. It was fun.
Hi, this is Rick Anthony, thanking you again for listening to this episode of Someone You Should Know. Now, if you're an aspiring musician or an established musician that's looking for a little exposure, I invite you to drop us a line at someoneyoushouldknowpodcast@gmail.com. That's someoneyoushouldknowpodcast@gmail.com. Also, I invite you to tell a friend about the Someone You Should Know podcast. I thank you for tuning in this time, and I invite you to check us out next time on the Someone You Should Know podcast, because you never know who's going to show up. Until next time, remember, God loves you, and so do I.